We now go over to Douglas Ross. Douglas.
I thank the Secretary of State, Minister Stewart, and Minister Rocky for Mr. Rocky for joining us today. And I have to say at the outset how disappointed people must have been to watch the, quite frankly, inept and poor chairing of this committee so far by Mr. Wishart. And I think people will understand why members of his own party and across Parliament.
Listen, Douglas. Excuse me, Douglas Ross. There's no need at all to make attacks on the chair of this committee. I've been elected by the House to chair this committee. Could you please just get on with addressing your questions?
It's a sensitive chair of this committee.
It's not. I'm just trying to get on with doing my job without any sort of personal attacks like that. Please get on with your questions.
When you're so poor at your job, I will personally attack you because you have talked over witnesses repeatedly.
This is just absolutely pathetic. Will you please just get on with your questions without making any sort of erroneous attacks on the chair?
Well, it's not erroneous if you are poor and inept, and the fact that you won't even allow me to...
Well, will you get on with your poor and inept questions, please, so we could get on with this session?
So our impartial chair has already decided that my questions will not be as good as his, and I think people will see yet again the SNP don't like to be criticised.
We just want to get on with this session. Would you please now just ask your questions?
Hopefully you can calm down now, Chair, as I address my questions to the Secretary of State and the Minister. And I had asked the Chair to comment specifically on the points about the election, and I would like to comment later on about further issues we hope to raise with our ministerial team from the Scotland office. But could I ask the Secretary of State, what was his reaction during the election to comments from the First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, that the SNP, as an independent country within the European Union, could have piggybacked on to the success of the vaccination scheme here in the United Kingdom and would have done what every other country in the EU has been unable to do and have such a successful vaccination rollout?
Had Scotland been independent, then Scotland would not have been part of the UK vaccination programme. That's very obvious. Had Scotland been independent, this ironic expression, independent in the EU, which is not really independent, then Scotland would have been in the EU vaccination scheme, and that would have obviously been much slower than the UK scheme. So I didn't agree with that comment at all. I think what would have been nice would have been for the First Minister to have said, do you know what? The United Kingdom government really delivered here. They got in at right at the beginning. They realised that the cavalry coming over the hill to save us from this virus is a vaccine, and they've gone gangbusters to achieve that. And do you know what? Thank you very much. And maybe a little bit of praise for the Prime Minister for the leadership he took on that would have, I think would have been welcome.
And another big issue in the election campaign was an SNP MSP who's been returned for the Scottish National Party, who represents the south of Scotland, saying that creating a border would be a good thing, it would be positive, it would create jobs and growth. Originally, the First Minister said there would be no border in an independent Scotland. She then said there would be a border, but there wouldn't be any problems. What was the UK government's perception and understanding of this confused message from the SNP during the election campaign on the border issues?
Well, the remark you refer to was ridiculous. What the MSP candidate, the SNP MSP candidate for the South of Scotland region actually said was that a border could be a good thing and it would create jobs. Well, if she's that keen on creating jobs at the border, maybe she should go the whole Trump and build a wall. That will create lots and lots of jobs. Issues if you're a public sector worker moving towards your pensionable age, is your pension going to be paid in groats or ultimately euros? And who's going to guarantee your pension? Because it won't be the UK government.
Thank you, Secretary of State. And when the Chair calms down, I'll seek to come back into the meeting with some later points I'd like to address on the agenda.
And thank you very much, Douglas. And can I say that anybody will be able to ask any questions of the responsibilities of any witness at this committee without that type of behaviour? I'm sure we'll get much more civility as we hand over to Mary Black. Mary.
Thank you, Chair. The bar hasn't been set very high with that one. Just to begin, Minister, could I
Sorry,
Can I
Chair.
ask you to
Sorry, I must
outline-
interrupt, Ms. Black. Can we just confirm that the official report will record your reaction to that, because it will be very useful as we continue to make a very clear understanding of your extremely poor performance as a convener and chair of this committee. So can we get clarification that the official report will carry your reaction?
I think we're just
if not, you maybe want to hide
absolutely
that,
and
Chair.
utterly tired of these feeble and pathetic little casting of aspersions on the chairing this committee. It really is embarrassing for you, Mr Ross. Continuing to come back with these type. Now, no, you can't. We're just going to get on with this committee now. Could we please just get on with asking questions to the Secretary of State, which is what this session has been designed to do? You've had your say. Mary Black.
So the official report won't record your reaction.
Excuse me, I am in the middle of asking a question.